most, it'll be for 24 hours. Longest race in the United States. The word is, think 24.
Well, you just have to think 24 all the time. It's hard to realize how long the race actually is. You just have to go a lot slower than you think you should.
In a sprint race, you've got to give it everything. In a long-distance race, you should also give it everything, but in an entirely different way.
Take it easy on brakes, easy on engine, easy on transmission, and that's about all a driver can do. So the thing is to be sensible about it.
Heart beats away from the green flag now in the opening of the 1966 International Racing season with a 24-hour Daytona Continental. A Goodyear Blimp's eye view of the Daytona International Raceway, capital of Bill Francis' stock car racing empire, now converted to a road racing course. This violently painted Ford Mark II prototype is a road racer, one of 4 such cars bearing Ford's name and substantial backing into the list for the World's Championship. Dan Gurney, Bruce McLaren, Walt Hanskin, Ken Miles, luminaries of the driving world, all piloting Fords. It's one of the most impressive team efforts ever mounted. The prancing horse of Ferrari, the immediate enemy. The perennial champion will be represented by private entries. Best of these, the famed P2, driven by Pedro Rodriguez and Mario Andretti. Among the private entries, Skip Scott's sports prototype GT40s, with last year's Le Mans winner Maston Gregory sharing the driving. The brand new, very promising Porsche Carrera 6 leads a 4-car factory Porsche effort. And the Texas-bred Chaparral. This race, the debut of Jim Hall's new coupe body. Last year's open models were the most decorated cars in U.S. racing, earning Hall unanimous praise for his advanced design concepts. The design problem at Daytona is ticklish. National Speed Sport News editor Chris Economaki gets the details.
Jim, you've got your new car here for this 24-hour race. What are the problems that this peculiar course presents to a designer?
This course is not like any of the road races that we normally run, Chris. It's got a very high banking, 31 degrees, and as you know, most road courses are fairly flat with winding turns and straightaways. So the basic thing here is to get the car set up for the banking, which is another problem than we normally experience.
Can you get a perfect setup, or must you compromise?
Well, it's a compromise, definitely, between the banking and the road course.
Try on the 3.81-mile course and feel the necessary compromises. 2.5 miles of the track is the regular stock car racer's tri-oval. The connecting turns to the straights, banked 31 degrees. The front section has an 18-degree twist. Heavy gravity loads exact severe demands upon right-side suspension and tires. Then onto the snaky infield road course. No straight long enough for the big iron to get past third gear. Hard on the brakes getting onto the road section and tough on them all the way through. The course is demanding enough. 24 hours of this kind of driving, a brutal grind. It takes car sense, driving sense, and common sense.
The car is capable of going around the banking faster than we're driving it around there. We don't want to push it as fast as it'll go there, because if something does go wrong, why, you've got trouble. And the car, since it's not set up for the banking alone, why, we have to compromise to set it up for the infield.
24 hours under such conditions is a severe demand upon traditionally go-fast drivers. And they're all single-minded about the most important aspect of the race.
Phil, you're the United States' most successful long-distance driver. You've won the Le Mans race 3 times. What is the quality that makes a good long-distance racer?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say, Chris. I think essentially it's a facility to adjust your approach toward racing cars and towards driving a race. In a sprint race, you've got to give it everything. And in a long-distance race, you should also give it everything, but in an entirely different way. You should have certain restrictions set for yourself as far as limitations. limitations as to how brutal, or rather how quick you're going to be with the gear lever and the clutch and all that sort of thing, and just not have any trouble overcoming your previous conditioning and stick with those things. And those are the kind of things that save a car for a long-distance race.
Take it easy on brakes, easy on engine, easy on transmission, and that's about all a driver can do.
Bruce, as a racing driver, do you find having to operate in this manner difficult?
Yes, yeah, very. Yeah, you spend all year going just as hard as you know how. Then you come to a couple of long-distance races like this, and it's a different sort of thing altogether. It's like a, I don't know, like a, I don't even know, can't even think of a parallel right offhand, like a ballet dancer trying to suddenly
do the twist?
I don't know, do the twist or something. It's a different thing. Yeah, racing cars aren't really designed to go 24 hours at absolute maximum. So the thing is to be sensible about it.
It's not as strenuous on the infield as it is on the outfield. The steering effort required on the banking with a heavy car like this is extremely high.
What about the strategy of the team? You have the luxury of many cars. Are some going to go out and be rabbits and others be...
No, we're all going to go relatively slowly, some slower than others. There's no way of determining what is the winning speed of this race. It's somewhere between 1 minute and 59 seconds and 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And where you draw the line is anybody's guess. With so many cars, we're able to split it up. And we're running at roughly 2-second intervals through the race. Some are running at some speed and then 2 seconds slower somebody else and 2 seconds slower somebody else, like that.
The primary factor, of course, has been endurance in a race such as this. I think the way it should be planned is just to race the clock, more or less run a set pace for the first 15 hours at least, if you're still running, and then maybe try to race and concern about who's leading the race. That's the way I see it anyway.
What about the other participants, Mario? Who do you worry about?
Well, of course, we have Ford Motor Company in full force here, and they'll be able to play rabbit and play conservative, you know, in all different ways. Now, we'll have to do both with what we have. We don't have as many cars as they do. It'll be an interesting factor to see if those cars will stay together. To me, they look quite bulletproof, really.
Now it's upon them, racing for the flag in the 24-hour Daytona Continental. Joe Bonnier sprints into the lead from the backstretch start into the difficult third turn banking. Behind, 58 cars scrambling for position and to stay out of each other's way. Texas Roadrunner leads into the infield. A pack of Fords and Rodriguez's Ferrari snarling right behind. Straight, and does. Miles takes the lead as they thunder towards the second go-round on the infield. Bonnier shuts off Hanskin into the road course. Hanskin's running a tight third. Rodriguez fourth in the Ferrari, all in contention. Bonnier is being pressed by Hanskin and Pedro for second spot. The leading under 2-liter Porsche 904 a bit hot into the turn, no damage. Bonnier's problem now holds second against the charging Rodriguez Ferrari. And Pedro looks like he's going to pass the apparently faltering Bonnier. And he does, stretching his lead rather easily. The pack is scurrying close behind. Little to choose between Fords and Ferraris this early in the goings-on. Bonnier was having trouble with the chaparral. It's not major, apparently, but problem enough to bring him in only 7 laps underway. Costly, but not an impossible handicap in a 24-hour contest. A minor adjustment, and Bonnier's out. Buck Fulp and Bruce Jennings doing nicely with their Ferrari prototype. Highest place Ferrari after the Rodriguez Andretti car. Skip Scott leading the sports prototype category in his GT40. Porsche's Carrera 6 performing admirably. Its first time out and showing good speed. First under 2-liter sports prototype, the Klaus Schutz Porsche 904, followed closely by its factory twin driven by Buzetta and Mitter. But it's the Miles Ruby prototype Ford, which has the crowd aghast as it shows bullet-like acceleration off the banking along the back stretch. More difficulty for the ill-starred Chaparral. Bonnier in again. This time the hood comes off, which means more than a minor ailment, and the Texas Roadrunner will be parked for a while. A faulty gear in the steering assembly, difficult to get to. This stop is going to severely penalize Hall's Chaparral effort. More than 3 hours along now, shadows creep over the west banking and the Fords still lead. The considerable Ferrari contingent is still pursuing. The Bob Bondurant Joachim Rindt 275 LM is 7th. Buck Fulp and Bruce Jennings driving well in 9th, with the Rodriguez Andretti car sandwiched in between. The Gurney Grant number 97 Ford is 2nd to Miles Ruby. Miles has turned his front-running Ford over to co-driver Lloyd Ruby. As the sun sets, Miles obviously finds things rosy red as he talks with team leader Carroll Shelby. The Chaparral regains the course after more than an hour. Out of contention, Hall's decided to continue full tilt as a further test and not worry about finishing. Sun sets on a solid Ford lead. The first 4 places owned by Mark II prototypes. Night action in a moment. The eerie hours at Daytona. 15 hours of solid blackness to wade through without diminishing speeds. There have been several key retirements. Ford still in total command of the first 4 places, with less Ferrari pressure now. The Wilson home, Hicks, Dernier, Jennings, Fulp, Ferraris all retired. At this point, Rindt, Bondurant in their 275 LM hold 5th, highest place Ferrari. A brisk but balmy afternoon has turned into a bitterly cold night. The lonely watchers and timers in the pits resorting to anything in defense of the unexpected and bone-chilling cold. Scott's Ford GT40 just out with Gregory at the wheel, still leading the sports category. A word with Skip.
Skip, the car seems to be doing very well. Is the cold any problem?
Yes, we've had to tape up the front radiator about halfway and still we're only running 50 centigrade.
Retirements continue. 2 more Ferraris out, leaving only 2 challenging the mighty Ford onslaught. It's Ford 1 through 6 now, with a Rindt Bondurant Ferrari 7th, Rodriguez Andretti 8th. The Chaparral, all but out of the running, is nevertheless setting records. Phil Hill has recorded a 1 minute 58.4, or better than 115 miles per hour average. But Chaparral's troubles continue despite the new record. Hill pits, oil's added, and Bonnier relieves Hill. Designer Jim Hall is determined to continue testing his brand new car as long as he's here. there's word that Rodriguez has begun his move. Lead-footing the big Ferrari P2 prototype in grand style, Rodriguez has chopped 3 cars from his handicap and stands 4th now behind Miles Ruby, Gurney Grant, and Hanskin Donahue, all in Fords. Lights flash every which way from oval and infield, turning Daytona into a bitter, cold nightmare. But the drivers thunder on, relying on lap charts and pit signs to keep track of the opposition. Miners' headlamps light the mechanics' way in the impressive Mark II pit. Ford stops have been quick and smooth all day. Miles relieves Ruby in the number 98 and takes off still in the lead. More trouble for the chaperone.
Of course, this is our first run on it. I'd have liked to have done better, but yeah, I'm discouraged.
I think everyone understands with a new car, Jim. Joe, was it exciting up there?
It was a little embarrassing, yeah, going round.
Did you come close to hitting anyone or any car?
I came very close to the wall. I was about a foot off the wall all the time. It's spun, but it didn't hit anything. But it just ended up the right way.
Well, I think, Joe, that you showed that the car has great potential. You set a lap record earlier. How about the car when it was running right? Fine car?
Oh, yeah, very good car. I think just about the best racing car I've ever been in.
22 degrees. Only the strong-hearted remain outside their heated cars. The order remains unchanged, but an always dangerous Pedro Rodriguez is still running hard on the top 3 Fords in a very solid 4th. Second place Dan Gurney has eclipsed Hill's record set earlier with a 1 minute 57.7 lap, better than 116 miles per hour. An inkling of the morning sun and the twice around the clock marathon enters the final daylight hours and hopefully some welcome warmth. Its frosted windshield mute testimony to the cold and inactivity. The Fulk Jennings Ferrari sits placidly on the infield. Broken transmission. Miles Ruby Ford prototype greets the new day as it left the old in front of the pack. Now 3 laps ahead. But Rodriguez has made another giant step. He's passed the Hanskin Donahue Ford and into 3rd place behind Gurney and Grant. The plucky Mexican star drove magnificently through the final watch-catching Hanskin just after sunrise. But Hanskin's always ready for a dice and stays right with Rodriguez. An anxious team leader Shelby looks for the latest situation. Hanskin comes by ahead of Rodriguez and shuts the Ferrari off into the infield. Watch these two go at it. Hanskin maintains his lead back into the oval and draws quickly away, quashing the last Ferrari threat. In the sports category, the Essex Wire twin Ford GT40s have led all the way, but a report now they're in trouble. The Scott Revson number 91 parked on the infield, and the Gregory Thompson number 92 barely moving with a half-operative gearbox. That gives the sports category lead to the Joe Buzetta Gerhardt Mitter Porsche 904. Scott's team was planned as one of the few independents in the International Challenge. Chris Economaki gets an update.
Skip Scott's Essex Wire team, one of the few teams planning a European invasion, put forth a commendable challenge here in the Continental. Skip, even though the outcome was disappointing, did your plan work as far as the cars lasted?
Yes, it did. It was just great. Our only competition when we went out at 10 o'clock this morning was from our own car, really, from the second car.
What about your continued plans for a European invasion? Will this affect them?
Yes, it will. By breaking the gearbox here, tonight we're going to ship the gearbox back to Germany and they're going to rebuild it for us. For Sebring.
And from there you'll continue on to Europe?
Yeah, we go to Le Mans and Spa, Belgium, Nürburgring in Germany, and Targa Florio, Sicily, and...
You're not at all disappointed then by this?
Well,
this
sure.
Oblivious almost to all the scurrying behind, Miles and Ruby have driven a masterful, relatively calm race. Miles brings the car in now for the final pit stop of the 24-hour Enduro. He's happy.
It's okay.
Everything's good.
Yeah, just be careful with it. Treated lovingly and tenderly.
Loving care.
Just for 2 hours. Okay?
With Miles' instructions to treat her lovingly and tenderly, Ruby mounts up for the final stint and gets away with a 9-lap lead over second place Bernie Grant. The closest Ferrari now 12 laps behind. Let's hear from Miles.
And how's the car?
Beautiful.
No trouble?
No trouble.
How about your speed? Are you taking it quite easy?
Just loafing along.
It's going to be number 2 for Miles and Ruby.
Right.
Well, good luck to you.
It's all but over now, and as it has for all but 9 laps of the 24 hours, number 98 runs easily in front. Last year's winners, when it was a 12-hour race, Ken Miles and Lloyd Ruby, take the checker and give Ford a magnificent first round in the battle for world supremacy. Dan Gurney and Jerry Grant second. A pre-dawn record lap for Gurney to boot. Walt Hanskin and Mark Donahue third. Pedro Rodriguez, Mario Andretti fourth. The Penske entered Corvette, driven by Moore and Winterstein, first Grand Touring category. Victory lane in a moment. Miles and Ruby covered 667 laps at a record average speed of 108 miles per hour. Their Mark II Ford, never in trouble, was impressively fast and reliable. The drivers were too, and talk about it.
Were you fellas sent out to play the rabbit and lead all the way?
No, we were given a choice of what speed we wanted to run, and we chose the speed.
Were you ever pressed at any point, Lloyd?
There's a few times we was wanting to play with some of the rest of them, and we knew better, so we slowed down to what we decided to run on.
Ken, you've raced at Le Mans. Was 24 hours at Daytona more difficult or easier than 24 hours at Le Mans?
Thanks to the weather, I think it was easier because it didn't rain.
And here's the zinger. Is this the kind of a team that can win at Le Mans?
I think this is a team that's going to win at Le Mans.
Well, congratulations and continued good luck to you.
In the sports category, winners' laurels to the factory entered Porsche 904, driven with great style by Joe Buzetta and Gerhard Mitter. Ford's convincing triumph gives it an early lead in the International Manufacturers' Championship race. America's bid to unseat Ferrari from the World Road Racing throne is off to a triumphant start. But Ferrari's newest model is yet to compete. The battle is far from over. Regardless, the significance of this first 24-hour race will make an historic event of the 24-hour Daytona Continental.